If you think being successful in the military today just means working hard and staying out of trouble, I've got bad news for you. The rules have changed. Today, I'm going to go over with you the top 10 ways service members can be successful in our modern military, no matter their rank, position, or contract. I'm Michelle Masher-Batista with Deliberate Military Experience, where we help service members build their best military life so that they can serve on their terms. The first way service members can be successful in our modern military is to treat their military service like a business, because it is. Service members need to look across the whole scope of not just the military, but their life, and figure out what's going to work for them in the long run. Businesses do not think short term. They usually have a 1, 5, 10-year plan, and that's exactly what you need to do. Service members need to treat all components of their military experience as assets. Schools, education, opportunities, networks, these are all assets, and if you collect enough of them, they can outweigh any of the liabilities that you may experience during your service, such as PCS moves, unexpected TDYs, deployments, things like that you have no control over. Take control of what you can and use them accordingly to plan your best military life. Once service members truly assess all of their assets that they can collect during their military service, they can start to develop various courses of actions. Having options is power, such as any other business, and that's exactly how you should treat your time in the military. Number 2, learn the system faster than your peers. The service members who excel the fastest and furthest aren't necessarily the hardest workers. In fact, I believe it's a collection of other skills, and one of those being they understand the game. The military is a game, and you have to know all the components of it to be most successful. What's required for various promotions? Where do you need to go for different PCSs for different opportunities? How can you leverage your TSP to make it go the furthest for you? By learning each of these various components, you will leverage all the opportunities the military has to offer. I've seen so many people not be as successful as they had expected, but then they had never taken the time to truly do the fine print reading to figure out what is needed and how to leverage all the various systems within the military. Number 3, build civilian-ready skills early. I like to say, think about the end at the beginning. Even if you think you're going to stay in the military for 20 years when you first join, which is great, really think about what you can gather during your time in the military. You never know what will happen, whether that's a reduction in force or you get hurt and you have to get medically boarded when you are not expecting. These things happen even with the best of intentions. It's better to have the mindset of someday you'll be a civilian, so start living that way in the military, because you just don't know. You don't want to be left empty-handed, because eventually we all do leave the military, so there's no better time to plan for that than the present. Number 4, stop letting your rank dictate your self-worth. No matter your position in the military, whether you're the newest enlistee or an old crusty senior officer, we must remain humble. Show that you are confident, but you must have the competence behind that to make real change. Do not be afraid to learn from others, your mentors, your peers, your subordinates. We all have something to learn. We must go about our day with a good attitude and an eager mind to learn from others. If you have something to share, share it. Don't hesitate. Even if it goes against the doctrine or grain of what's going on, if there's a proper opportunity to share that or give feedback, you must do so and own it, and you'll be surprised how much respect that you'll get along the way. Number 5, be strategic with yes and powerful with no. There are many times in the military, as you've probably experienced, where you are told where to go, what to wear, what to bring. There are few opportunities where you are asked or advised, perhaps, or inquired to do or get involved with other opportunities. Some of these opportunities are great and you should participate in them, especially if it's a rare event. But you are more than a service member. You are a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, a friend. You must try when you can, because you oftentimes don't, but when you can, get the opportunity to evaluate an opportunity and it doesn't work with the other components of your life, don't be afraid to say no, or at least not now. Hear out the person making the suggestion to you, but do not hesitate to say no if it is the right thing to do. So many of your hours are occupied by other requirements where you don't really have a say in the matter. So if you have other opportunities and obligations on your personal side, remember who you are, and you have to find stability in your life to prevent burnout and to give your time to the other people in your family outside of your unit. Number 6, document everything like your life depends on it, because someday it will. As I've mentioned, someday you will be leaving the military, whether that's in 4 years or 24 years. And you'd be surprised how many people I meet that are in denial of that fact. For whatever reason, people are told pretty often to document the events in their life, particularly related to medical, and they just don't. Recently, I even had to mention to a fellow officer that they really should go get a certain issue addressed in their medical record, because they just don't know the ramifications of the event for years to come. It might seem like a very minor or obsolete issue now. It is worth it to get it documented, and not just with medical things. We're talking about wills, power of attorneys, evaluations, letters of recommendations, anything like that. Keep a good log. You owe it to yourself in the short term and especially the long term of all the things that you do or have had done to you. You just never know how things will change in the world, and you'll need that information down the road. We often will forget so many little details, but those details can really add up over time. So again, document your life along the way. Number 7, build relationships outside of your immediate unit. You need to meet people outside of not just your unit, but outside of your branch, outside of your neighborhood. Again, someday you will be out of the military, and it's very likely you will not be working and living where you are currently stationed, particularly if you're on active duty. You'll have the opportunity to go somewhere else and start anew. But by doing that, you really need to think outside the box and where you might want to go and what might you want to do. Think about those things. You need to network not just horizontally along your ranks or when you go to a military conference. Think vertically. Think outside the box. Really think into the future. Where do you want to be? Don't be afraid to reach out to those people or ask other people to help you along the way. Get to other organizations or communities that you want to learn more about. This is particularly important if you are within 2 to 3 years of retirement, or if you know you're going to separate or ETS, things like that. Really start to invest the time to ask for informational interviews. These are where you are just really gathering information. Your goal is not to look for a job or ask for contacts of these people in your future network. Really aim to learn, have an open mind, and listen carefully. If these informational interviews do lead to more contacts or other opportunities, that's great. But that should not be your goal. Don't be disingenuous with your time when you are requesting to meet with other people who might be able to help you along your current and future journey. Number 8, take ownership of your physical and mental readiness. At this point, if you've been in the military for any amount of time, you've probably heard this lip service a lot. Go do this, go do that, go talk to medical professionals. That's all great, and sometimes it can be hard to ask for help. People like to present the resources out in the military, and they do exist. However, you need to take it upon yourself to go and ask for them and get them. There are people that want to help you. And if you don't do it, it could bite you down the road or create burnout now. Everyone has stressors, and that is expected in the military. But if you're unable to maintain a stable homeostasis within your work or personal life where you can't balance the give and take of the daily challenges and you find yourself unable to sleep or eat correctly or focus on what really matters in your life, you really need to take a pause, do some self-reflection, and get the help where you can, and don't forget to document it along the way. You owe it to yourself to take care of what you can now, especially if there's resources readily available and if your supervisors can provide you the time to go to those appointments, to talk to professionals, and that so you can take care of yourself. When you go out into the civilian world someday, you may or may not have that leniency and time in your new job to take care of these things that you should probably just take care now instead of later. Number 9, have an exit strategy even if you plan to stay. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but having an exit strategy along major milestones in your military career gives you a new freedom that I think most people just don't understand. People think I'm just going to stay in, put my head down, and just get pushed along the promotion process, and the people will tell me where to go and what to do. That's a very dangerous and precarious position to be in, especially in this day and age when resources are dwindling every year, each budget season, or new technologies like AI can come in and easily turn your job into an obsolete MOS or AFSC. Really have an exit strategy should an opportunity not be made available at your next ETS or your next PCS moves. I just read in an article recently, Army officer, certain branches are no longer needed, and officers need to either reclass into something else or they're going to be asked to leave. These things happen. You shouldn't act so surprised when it does. It's unfortunate and somewhat painful. But by having an exit strategy, you can have a peace of mind, you can have more leverage, and you can feel more confident going to work each day, knowing that you're going to do the best you can, but you have something future in mind to work toward as you collect various assets along the way. I encourage you to develop a solid career map to see where you are, what you've done, and where you could go within the military and beyond. You need to have certain tripwires in your career where if something doesn't happen to your expectation or requirement, that you are okay with pivoting with the consultation of maybe a financial professional or a spouse or a family member or peer. Don't make rash decisions alone, but do understand you do have the power to make the best of the situation if it doesn't go your way. And that goes to number 10, live deliberately, not reactively. You need to take the time every now and then, and when there's a dull moment, to really kind of reassess where you are. What is the next move you can make? Again, the military is a game. It really, really is. It's a bigger version of chess, if you will. Each move will have a second or third order effect, and to be successful and less frustrated, you should really think about each of these moves. How will this particular professional military education course advance me to where I need to go, or is it a waste of time? What will happen if I take it virtually versus in person? What are the pros or cons to that? What happens if I do this special duty? How will it affect my family? What's the likelihood of me deploying even though I just came back from a deployment? Each of these decisions should be made deliberately. Don't be a yes person. We're already in a position where we are in a must-do position. So when you evaluate each of these components of your life to include financial decisions, should I buy a house in this new location? Should I use a VA loan? Maybe I should just rent. Should I drive an hour to save $100 more a month, or should I just pay a little bit more in rent to live closer to the base if my job is one where I will be called up often? Evaluate all the things in your life that you value and figure out the best way to make the military work for you. I have developed a course called the Service Members Playbook, and the description's below, where I exactly take the time to show service members all the steps that they really should consider so that they can live their best military life on their terms. I encourage you to check it out. If this video helps you at all, hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.